produce and to raise children, and we are telling them to forsake that and go become a CEO of a shoe company. And we're wondering why so many young ladies are miserable and angry because they're at war with something within them that they actually want to do, which is to have a relationship, have children, and nurture future humans into this world.
I would like to propose an alternative perspective. I'm conservative, but I'm also a feminist, and I think that a better way to propose feminism in the public media would be not to eliminate having children and tell women that they shouldn't have children, but to figure out your career first before you decide to settle down, because you can't really undo that once you have kids.
So I think it's the exact opposite. I think you should have kids first, then do your career, because which one has a timetable on it?
True, but once you have kids, you're committed to that, and you can't really.
Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel at Peace and Makeover. Today I'm going to be checking out Charlie King exposes the flaw in feminist logic. Okay, it's been long ahead about feminism, so I would love to see this. So guys, without further ado, let's get started.
How do you believe feminism should be defined, and do you think it can be reconciled with conservatism?
Well, so yes and no. It depends. There's first, second, and third wave feminism. First wave feminism is that women should have a right to vote. Second wave feminism had a lot of problems, which is the female liberation movement, that women should not just be at home, but they should get into the workforce. Third wave feminism is complete garbage, which is toxic modern day feminism, which is irreconcilable with any decent society, which is far more about hating men than actually respecting women. And you guys all know the type of that kind of feminism. There are some good aspects of second wave feminism, but at the core of feminism, we have to ask the question is, has it made American women happier? And it hasn't, actually. American women are more suicidal, more depressed, more anxious than they were prior. And I believe, and again, we get in trouble for saying this, is that you should have the agency and liberty to do whatever you want. But many women, a majority, like 90+% deep down, have this urge to reproduce and to raise children. And we are telling them to forsake that and go become a CEO of a shoe company. And we're wondering why so many young ladies are miserable and angry because they're at war with something within them that they actually want to do, which is to have a relationship, have children, and nurture future humans into this world.
I would like to propose an alternative perspective. I'm conservative, but I'm also a feminist, and I think that a better way to propose feminism in the public media would be not to eliminate having children and tell women that they shouldn't have children, but to figure out your career first before you decide to settle down, because you can't really undo that once you have kids.
So I think it's the exact opposite. I think you should have kids first, then do your career, because which one has a timetable on it?
True, but once you have kids, you're committed to that, and you can't really have as much of a career, so you should kind of define your I guess what I'm trying to say.
Kids are way more important than being, a data scientist at Dropbox.
But okay, what if you don't want to have kids?
That's fine. Then go do it. You're risking that you might end up super miserable. And that's what we're seeing, is that we have seen a spike where half of women in their 30s that are unmarried are on antidepressants. Half. We've never seen a spike like this. And again, I'm not saying that's the only reason, but we've never, ever seen a generation or a group of people so angry, so miserable, so medicated. And there's obviously something wrong. We know who are the happiest women in America. Women with 3 or more kids are the happiest women in America. Least suicidal. Yes, right? And by the way, it's not easy, but it's super deep. And so again, if you want to go be a data scientist, God bless you. This is country, free country. Go do that. I just think that there's a part of the story that isn't being told, which is that the opposite should be have kids as soon as possible, and then you can go pursue your career in your late 30s once your kids are 18 years old. And it's the opposite. We tell people, wait. And by the way, when you reach your 30s, you might be infertile, you might have trouble having kids, you might need IVF, you might need all these other very, harsh treatments, and you might not even find a mate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy class. Thank you.
That's a very big one. I don't know what I'll say on that, because if I'm okay, get your career first, then you have kids, then it's going to be you're putting your reproductive timeline on a hold before you do that. But I feel, do what works for you. If you find love first before you figure out how your career is going to be, you can fall in love, get married, and everything will fall into place. I'm reading this book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I'm sorry for using the word fuck, but that's what is on the book. And it's saying like when you overthink things, when you're always on this kind of high road, you end up not being happy. It's just like now that I say that to make a video. Most times when I think about it, oh I have to make video, oh I have to make video, I put so much pressure on myself and I end up not doing it. But today I'm just like I'll make video today, and I didn't think about it. I just started working towards it, and I was listening to the book. I was just listening to it. Even when I went to shower, I was listening to it, and it's just don't put pressure on yourself, don't overstress yourself, don't force yourself that you have to find love, you have to do this, you have to do your career. If you put too much pressure on yourself, you end up looking at yourself as a failure. Because when you get your job, let me say you get a job first, and then you stay 5 years, 6 years, you haven't found love, you haven't given birth, and you're like 36, then you look at yourself like a failure, that I couldn't achieve what I put myself up to achieve. So we need to know what we want, and don't overstress yourself about it. When I went to school, I didn't really think much about it. But at the end of the day, I graduated. I mean, I was sitting there like, oh damn, that was good. And most times we are more intoxicated with the result of what we are going for and not the actual process. That's why majority of times we give up. When you want to fall in love, you're just thinking about the love itself. You're thinking about how sweet, how romantic the whole thing will be. But we forget that love is an act. It's not now. It's not I love you. It's not just a feeling. It's an action. So it needs work. You have to work for you to keep it. So if you just think it's just going to be all rose and like, you end up leaving the relationship when it's not beautiful. It's something you put in effort to get. So we should be more interested in the journey than just the final result. Because if you are just thinking about the final results, you're not going to enjoy it. When I graduated, my graduation day was just one day, and it just came and left. And I went to school for 4 good years. I thought about school 2 years before I entered school. But my graduation was just one day. My certificate is sitting in my bus. But at the end of the day, what you remember is not just that one day. You think about each process. You think about how, oh fuck, I don't know what I'm tearing up. You think about how difficult the whole thing was, the sleepless night, the late night reading, the burning of the candles, the fear that you may not pass your exam, the fear about how you're going to pay your school fees. It just didn't sum up to that one day of you standing up there and being celebrated. It's the whole process that brought you up to that moment. So thinking about being a housewife or thinking about being a career woman and also having kids, don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's a process. Men do that too. Some men prioritize getting their jobs first. That's why a lot of men get married at the age of 35, 32, 33, some of them in their late 30s. But I'm not saying this as a bash to women, but we women, we have biological clock. You can be, when you're 18, 19, 20 to like 23, you're more fertile to give birth easily. I'm not saying when you're 26, 28, you can get pregnant. Obviously, you can. I'm just saying it's easier for for women who are in their early 20s and late teens to get pregnant easily than when you're in your late 20s or early 30s. So you need to we need to look for what you prioritize more. Do you prioritize starting a family more than having a career? Because these days you can be 22 and you're done with university. Before you get to 25, obviously you get a job, you may be able to have gotten a car, rent your own apartment, and then you plan for the next phase in life. You must not be a CEO before you want to have a husband or have kids. I know there's so many things you want to achieve in life, but you need to put in what matters more and then work towards that. But don't put pressure on yourself. Don't stress yourself. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, there's going to be another way. Don't feel like a failure just because one door isn't opening. But this was good and I enjoyed it. So do let me know anything about my reaction. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.